Tufshin Mem Aleph. The Rebbe said, the Maimonides Muskir Adov Ramavil. There are hundreds and thousands of Jews waiting that someone should come and put tefillin on them or learn a word of Hasidus with them. And we've talked about this many, many times, and no response. And I'm referring to Jews in prison. I wrote a note to the Rebbe that night that since the Rebbe mentioned it, I'm thinking of maybe putting some of my effort into that field, and I'm going to make an appointment to try to see how it goes in the prison. So the Rebbe answered me right away, Tach Tach, Shuraschein. And that's how alles began.
Amatora, der Zweck von Halten am Menschen in Beis Asuri ist nicht, dass der Linie von ihnen, nur geben ihm eine Gelegenheit, soll sich missbeinen sein. In die Jahre, was getan, bildlich, wo der Vater hat nicht mehr reingesetzt bei Beis Asuri, mit Gitte mechet Möglichkeit, soll sich lernen, gestalten sein soll. V'chula soll sich können zugereden, zu Areis gehen und nun im Leben Achayim, Beseder, und Bescholim, und Beyesher, durch die Achone, was wird haben, bemerkt von den Tagen, was gefindet hat, in den Beis Asuri.
Trying to get into a federal prison, it's not so easy. One of the most important judges in America is Jack Weinstein, and he's in the Eastern District, the Rebbe's district. And I heard about him, so I decided to go see him. I said to him, I want to do something for Jews in prison. It'll help everybody. He says, on what basis? I said, I'm following the Rebbe's instructions. You the Lubavitcher Rebbe? Yeah. Oh. Calls his clerk. Can you get me Carlson, director of the Bureau of Prisons? The federal director in Washington. That was the door that opened the whole system to me.
It is a serious problem today in our society. We tend to incarcerate more and more people without considering rehabilitation. We don't treat them as human beings.
Wo der Vater niemand Torres von Beis Asuri, aber die Jiden, was gefunden sich dort, weil der Seite nicht Jiden, weil der geht zu Sheva Mitzvahs, Bnei Neach, Lereme Mesrucham, Leede Desrucham. Als in die Jahren, was eine nicht gemuchrochen, seine sie Punkt, wie hat die, was gefunden sich Bechelos.
So when Aleph began this program some years ago, I did everything I could to encourage it.
People didn't want to give money for prisons, working with criminals, all that stuff. So I got a check from the Rebbe, a personal check, was signed by the Rebbe, and he said $1,000 for the project of Pesach Matzah, $1,000 for the project of Tefillin, and $1,000 for other projects. So I started going to the prisons. I would come in and I would talk about what the Rebbe said. You're not bad people that do bad things. You're good people that made mistakes. And every human being has an opportunity to correct themselves.
Yeah, I know.
Soll haben bei sich ein Gefühl, als ist bis allmählich in Messene. Als ist ein Mensch, was eben nur wird wollen, ist unter Dämmelt oder mit Loschner Dammelerli, wird bis allmählich in Messene. Bischass, man nimmt ihm zu die Möglichkeiten und man drückt ihm zu, man quetscht ihm zu und man lässt ihm nicht aufheben den Kopf, ist nicht nur der Beis Asuri führt nicht aus dem Tachlis, aber macht von ihm ein Pscheier noch mehr, wie gewähnt bestraßt, als ins reingegangen.
I would learn with them. Started reading the Chumash, started putting on tefillin. And then we started doing yeshiva in prison. Guys going for 2 or 3 days, like 15 guys, and they learned one-on-one, one-on-two with a group of Jews, and they transformed their lives.
In 1988,
1987, I started becoming very involved with Rabbi Lipsker and another person who was the president of Aleph, Mark Sheridan, Shalom Moshe Sheridan, had asked me if I would consider working with this organization that helped Jewish prisoners around the world.
I'm the executive director of the Aleph Institute. I'd like a blessing that we should be successful in administering the office and moving forward with Aleph.
You'll double your efforts and God will make you double his blessing.
I wanted to ask you, in terms of the Institute, is there any change in direction in how we're doing things or just a general direction?
It seems to have a new mind in every communication area. The practical terms, even use of the soul, the consciousness of the soul, you must try the kosher
in many interactions that we had that it was stressed. Mitzvahs Maisius, Tefillin, Zuzah, Shabbos, Kashas, Mitzvahs Maisius.
We have the Aleph Institute has 11 men out of prison, and we usually let the Aleph Institute and the 11 prisoners. I appreciate it very much.
You have prepared something for them for sukkah. When they bound
I think on the whole that probably there is a connection between spirituality and good conduct.
Talk about joy. Talk about how to make, you might say, a happiness.
The Rebbe was interested in seeing that the lives as lived in the real world were improved.
Und unter demult, wie bechuki korev hamedinis kekula, abishase doa han hoger tegel de beso asuri, is men mekatze dem zman hoenisch, und me loste ma reis frie lachelus, worden mod gesehen als schön greit, zu chaim al pitzedek v'yesher.
We brought a group of 20 people out of prison in the Verbringen. The Rebbe said the men should not sit together, because if they sat together, they'll bring very much attention to themselves, and that maybe some of them would not be comfortable. During the Verbringen, that's when the Rebbe said the Sichaf about the prisoners, that at the highest levels, because only they can be mavared in the tzutzis in such a dark place.
Know that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you have to say, I have a unique mission in this world. And in this place, you have the strongest mission, because it's the darkest place.
We have interacted since we started with over 25,000 people in prison.
Aleph is one of the most forthcoming initiatives we have today in the penal area.
I'm from Shalom Lipsker. I just came from jail just now, from Aleph Institute. Yeah. I just came home from jail.
God will much bless you to have good news and healthy news.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was in prison, and this rabbi here and also the feeling of you helped me get through it, and I wanted to thank you.
That God will not will soon forget about all this past and head.
That's what you should forget.
You know what Passover is?
Yes.
Yeah. If the Jews have forgotten about Mitzrayim, it is time for you to forget about your prison also. God will not bless you, even if it's difficult, but try your best.
When I was chief judge of this court, I did everything I could to assist him in his work.
But you support my views also, not only support my views. Support them.
Yes, and the prisoners. He's, from a spiritual and ethical and religious point of view, a most unusual person among the very rare people at the top of the group of people that we have known in our generation who are interested in improving society.
God Almighty bless you, to go from strength to strength and to reach the time that there will be no prison, only preventive education, not to let people to go astray from the right way.